Please stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And again, in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act, I wish to announce that the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and attend the meeting of bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. Notices announcing this meeting were sent to all concerned individuals, associations, and Union County local source in accordance with Chapter 231 PL 1975. At this time, I'll call the roll. Mayor Radist,
Here.
Councilwoman Fox,
Here.
Councilwoman Little,
Here.
Board of Education President Hanley,
Here.
and Board of Education Vice President McCann.
Here.
Okay, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. At this point, I do not have any announcements, so I'll turn it back to Assistant Superintendent Pepe.
Thank you. Okay, first item of business is we need to have a motion to approve the minutes for March 9th and March 28th. Can I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay, I had Councilwoman Little moving, and I'm sorry, who was seconding it? Ms. McCann. Okay, on the roll. Ms. Little?
Here.
And not the, on the roll call for this, yes, no?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. McCann?
Yes.
Mr. Hanley?
Yes.
Ms. Fox?
Yes.
President Radist?
Yes.
Okay, the minutes pass. This time, we'll start to discuss the annual school budget. I will first turn it over to the superintendent for your comments.
Thank you, Mr. Pepe. I'd first like to start off by acknowledging all the efforts of the people that brought this budget together. Again, it was a tireless effort, and of course, none of this would have gotten off to a great start without the collaboration of our principals and our administrative staff with our supervisors and their close eyes on the lens of building a zero-based budget from the ground up in each of their buildings. Additionally, of course, every year I can't be more grateful than the year previous before, but I find that I am with my business office, Assistant Superintendent Pepe, as well as Kathy Sarno, and all the work that they do. And not to be forgotten, the rest of my cabinet with Jane and Jen and Matt with the HR, curriculum, and special services, kind of tying everything together. That's also in line with what our vision is as a school district, and that's to be able to provide the best quality education to the best quality of students that we have here in Summit. So I thank them all for everything that they've done, the time and energy that they put in. I also would like to thank the Ops Committee for being so forward-thinking and understanding our vision, what we're trying to do, and ensuring that the questions that were asked were embedded to what our focus areas were and where we want to be as a school district. I found the conversations to be very edifying, and I know that we will be in a better place because of those questions and because of how we structured our budget. Additionally, I'd love to thank the members of the Board of School Estimates for the questions that they've had coming into the process and looking at our numbers and looking at what we're trying to do, particularly on the educational side, and how those dollars correlate to what we're doing educationally. So thank you very much. As superintendent, you can't ask for anything more when you're creating a budget, but to keep the students first and keep the students the focal point of every dollar that's spent. For us, I feel like we've always done that, and we continue to do that. Within this budgeting process, we made sure that we valued our programming, that it was, again, moving towards our vision, towards where we need to be progressive in the way we think about our programs that we provide for our students. We valued, the leadership value that we're trying to create in our students. We made sure that we want to provide opportunities for each and every individual child. And we also want to make sure that we're developing young adults that could think in a team setting and work in an environment that's going to consistently evolve with technology and disruptive means that are developing throughout our world. And I believe our budget stays true to that, whether it's in our professional development that we're investing in, whether it's in the new curriculum and programs that we're developing, Whether it's restructuring so that we put the right personnel in the right places to be able to provide that support for all our students. And because of that, I'm very proud of the work that all the people that were involved in, particularly, again, my staff, as well as the teachers who will be delivering the impact that's going to happen in the classrooms day to day. So with that, I am extremely happy with the budget that we've put together, and it's a budget that's been put together as a team with a collective voice and with one thought and one thought only, is to provide the best for our students here in Summit.
Thank you, Superintendent Chang. I really don't have much to add to that. That was pretty eloquent. The only piece that I look at as the CFO managing a budget is the leadership and advisory direction that we receive both from the Board of Education, the strategic dedication of the members of the Operation Committee, and overall globally, the understanding of the Board of School Estimate that really makes it a pleasure to work and create in an environment that is always looking to the future and making sure that we have something that works, something that is well thought through. And the process that starts in October seems like a very long time to get to here, but you know, it's just really enjoyable working with quality people. And as Superintendent had stated, you know, the business office, you know, my assistant Kathy Sarno, our wonderful administrators who you see out here. This budget is not put together by one person. It's certainly not done by myself alone. It really requires the efforts of everybody, and everybody rolls up their sleeves and makes sure that they understand the process and what's in there. And at the end of the day, we keep education first, and that's really what our goal is, keeping dollars in the classroom. So it's a pleasure to present this budget, and that's really all I have to say tonight.
Okay, I'd like to open it up now to comments from members of the Board of School Estimate. So, do you want to start?
It's okay. I will. So thank you, everyone. I was glad that Mr. Dietz went through so many of the numbers, because as he was going through those, I thought, you know, maybe I should have gone through numbers. As someone who's enjoyed a career in finance for 25 years, my comments only have one piece of math, which is the first sentence, which is that my husband and I moved to Summit 15 years ago in 2003, so I had to do that math. And Mr. Dietz is right, I have lots of spreadsheets, so maybe I'm just numbered out, because my speech is not as much about numbers, so I appreciate that Mr. Dietz went through a lot of those. So to go on with it, my husband and I moved to Summit 15 years ago in 2003. A few years after we moved here, before my kids were even in the Summit schools, I came to a Board of Education budget meeting, mostly to better understand how 50% of my tax dollars were being spent. Lou probably remembers me.
Yes, I do.
Because I was not shy. Many years later, I'm now chair of the Operations Committee, and it's a role that's definitely more difficult than the younger me sitting in the audience appreciated. But because I've been on both sides, it's a role that I take very seriously and I'm honored to have, so thank you. The reason the role is difficult is because there are constant trade-offs that must be weighed. It would be easy to focus on making investments in our students and staff or cutting costs to ease the burden on taxpayers. What's difficult is making investments in our students and staff and, at the same time, cutting costs to ease the burden of our citizens. The good news for every Summit student, staff, and resident is we have a Board of Education, a superintendent, cabinet, administration, principals who understand this and are all dedicated to be thoughtful and make tough but smart choices. I remember when we interviewed Mr. Chang for the superintendent role, one of the things that stood out to me is one thing he said, and I'm paraphrasing, I didn't tape it, but he said, Summit people work hard and they deserve a superintendent who spends every penny as if it was his own. Remember something? Something like that. I appreciated the fact he recognized that Summit residents do work hard and often make a lot of sacrifices to live in a town like Summit. And that while most of the interview was about how he would make our district the best it would be, he also recognized it had to be done in a responsible and sustainable manner. Mr. Pepe, our business administrator, also understands this. One of his favorite lines is trust but verify, which as a board and operating committee is exactly what we do and did. We trust Mr. Chang and Mr. Pepe, but as a board, we still push, ask lots of questions, and review a lot of detail. To give you an example, we see the worksheets that Lou puts together for each department. One example is photography class. We can see line by line, you can seriously see, as memory cards, the, batteries and memory cards for photography that are increasing. At the same time, you see film, the budget for old-fashioned film decreasing. I mean, that's the level of detail that's in this budget. I can confidently say this is truly a zero-based budget with no stone left unturned. In parallel with the detailed work, the administration is working to look at the district goals and the overall strategy to ensure we're allocating funds to the areas of highest importance and making choices that are best for our students and staff. And this is truly the most important part of the process. Because our primary mission is to educate our students, and this is always kept in the forefront throughout the process. The reason I say all this is to give you some insight into both the processes and the people involved with developing this budget, which serves as a backdrop to my main message, which as Chair of Ops Committee and member of Board of School Estimates, I wholeheartedly support this budget. This budget invests in our teachers and staff through both competitive salary increases as well as investments in professional development. It invests in early childhood and elementary education by adding a literacy coach for all of our young students and an additional basic skills teacher to assist those who require additional help. It continues to support the increased investments we've made in our guidance department to ensure our children are not just excelling academically, but also socially and emotionally. It invests in our enrichment and honors opportunities, including the IDEAS program at the elementary level, as well as continuing the new honors and AP courses that we've added over the past few years, such as honors chemistry, AP psychology, economics. It invests in technology in order to ensure our students are prepared for the 21st century, including our new grade 4 robotics program and the continuation of our one-on-one initiative. It continues to invest in our amazing extracurricular programs such as music, theater, sports, and the many more activities with the hopes of ensuring that each and every child in our district finds their true passion outside of just academics. And at the same time, it ensures financial sustainability of these programs and responsible spending of taxpayer dollars. I want to thank Mr. Chang, Mr. Pepe, Ms. Sarno, and the fellow members of the Operations Committee and Board, but also all of the administration, the principals, the teachers, not just for the hard work that went into this budget, but your continued dedication to our kids and families in Summit. We are so thankful for all that you do. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to congratulate Superintendent Chang, Assistant Superintendent Pepe, Ms. Sarno, and members of the Board of Education, particularly the Operations Committee, for their hard work on this budget. It's very clear that you've put a lot into this and put out a really quality product. I would also like to thank the principals, the administrators, and teachers for their work in identifying and addressing the needs of the students. The Summit Public Schools are a valuable asset to the community and benefit even those residents who do not currently have children in the schools by maintaining Summit's property values and making Summit a community that people want to live in. I commend the board for finding operational cost savings in many areas, such as utilities, discounts, and managed print services, and for directing these savings into new curricular programs and supporting quality academic and extracurricular programs that directly benefit our students. So for all those reasons, I fully support this budget.
First, I'd like to start by thanking the current Board Vice President and Operations Chair, Deb McCann, along with Board Committee members Donna Miller and Peggy Wong, for your inputs and oversight of the budget process. The results speak for themselves, and job well done. Next, I'd like to thank Superintendent Chang and Assistant Superintendent and Business Administrator Lou Pepe and Assistant Business Administrator Kathy Sarno. As a board member, I've come to appreciate their efforts in this process and can say without hesitation that one of our strongest assets and operational advantages leading us to the continually improving academic results we've seen coming from the classroom is in part a direct result of the fiscal and strategic disciplines shown from our top administrators. These disciplines and objectives of the superintendent and the board are meaningless, however, if they don't translate into buy-in, passion, and day-to-day actions at the level of the building leadership. The depth of knowledge regarding the goals of the district and the details of the curriculum have to be married with a deep knowledge of each grade and even each teacher and student's needs, so that it all comes together to properly outfit our teachers with the resources they need to achieve success each day in that classroom. Our building principals and supervisors are the ones that serve at the critical intersection where the top-down strategy and resource availability meet up with the individual student needs and opportunities for growth and achievement. Without the skill sets and experience these professionals bring to the budget equation, the big picture ideas and directional aspirations get lost in the implementation and the execution phase. And that is what happens in most districts, resulting in wasted opportunities to expand each child's learning and also wasted financial investments where monies are spent that are inefficiently used or are potentially more rewarding educational investments get squeezed out altogether and are never made. However good we may think we may have gotten at this budgeting and educating thing, though, there is always more work to be done. Change is constant. The challenges kids face in and out of the classroom evolve. The community speaks its mind. New information and data comes in, and we continue to analyze this data and adjust to the future. For example, some will look at this budget and find things they want that are not in there. A specific sports program comes to mind, where participation trends appear to be up over the past few years. The projected costs might be $10,000 or so, and some feel it may connect with certain students who may have no other athletic interests. We as an administration and board listen to the community on items such as these. We review such data, as well as all of our current athletic offerings and the participation trends. At the end of the day, we also take into account items such as the temporary lack of a full-time athletic director and leadership, direction, and ownership that such a decision would need, and we made no changes. Add to that, we saw close to 10% increases in our health and benefits category, resulting in close to a $1.2 million increase, and the need to reduce staff in the elementary teacher level by 5, as well as other staff trimmings, and the timing didn't seem to be right. But what did we do? We looked at the changes, we reviewed the new info, we conducted analysis on the data, and we made our decision. Not everyone will agree with all of these decisions, such as these that the board and administration make, but then again, not everyone will have all of the info, nor the responsibility for the entire budget, rather than one line item. Not everyone will look at their own pet project or initiative that is near and dear to their heart and be forced to stack that up against the thousands of other programs, purchases, and staffing decisions that are made to bring together an almost $70 million budget. Those pet project owners usually look at their idea, identifying it as an offering we don't have, one that would say 20 or 30 or 40 kids might benefit from, and indicate that it may be the one program that helps that one student get to the next level. And they will finish with the fact that it only costs X. If that were the only bar to meet, or hurdle to jump, then we would never say no to anything. Unfortunately, we have to look at the full body of work and the limited funds that we have to work with and make tough decisions that aren't always popular. But if everyone steps back and considers what we do have, including a highly ranked athletic program that is so broad in its offering and student participation levels, that we are ranked one of the best in the state as well as the nation. An exceptional arts program with award-winning theater productions, an incredible speech and debate team, and well-rounded fine arts curriculum. The luxury of adding a fourth pillar to academics, arts, and athletics, as the administration now considers how we construct and offer programming for our students interested in community service. When you look into the classroom, we have a robust one-to-one initiative, an exceptional number of services in special education that most districts can't dream about. The new middle school science labs and a soon-to-be renovated culinary arts center that are representative of modernized and well-maintained facilities across the district. A broad and growing AP offering and more individualized learning programs for each of our students. An increasing investment in programs like learning workshops and expanding our guidance efforts to support each student. We have well-supported staff that we have invested in 3-year contracts ranging from 2.6 to 2.8% salary increases. We continue additional support through professional development programs and offerings, as well as financial support as they seek advanced degrees. We seem to be seeing a major surge and the new record levels of staff pursuing and achieving these advanced degrees in just the past year that will absolutely translate into our student achievements as they bring these new skill sets into the day-to-day instruction in their classrooms. In summary, this all means that the $70 million approximately that we spend results most importantly in an ever-growing number of kids going through Summit Schools pre-K to 12 from all varieties of socioeconomic and cultural backgrounds that are achieving greater and greater academic successes no matter how we choose to measure it. For that, our teaching staff, administration have a lot to be proud of. Our students, their families, and all residents have a lot to be thankful for. I thank everyone for their efforts during this budget process and their contributions to making the Summit Schools in the district the best that it can be. And as President of the Board of Education, I wholeheartedly express my support for this year's proposed budget and the quality educational programming it provides each and every student to take advantage of to achieve his or her full potential. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Henley. Councilwoman Little?
Thank you. And it really is an incredible responsibility and honor to be entrusted with the task of making sure that residents' tax dollars are spent wisely and well, and making sure in this part of it that our school district is functioning well and is strong. Being part of this process for the first time this year, I was incredibly impressed by the amount of hard work and the amount of detail that goes into a budget process like this. And I can assure everyone in the community that everyone involved takes this responsibility very seriously. A strong and successful school district benefits every member of our community, and I wholeheartedly support this budget because it really balances the needs of the students and the wise spending of the money and resources to make sure that the district continues to be successful and enjoy the successes it has both in the academic, athletic, performing arts, and all the other areas that we're so proud of in our Summit schools. In an era of rising costs that are largely uncontrollable, I find it incredibly impressive that you've been able to do this and hold these costs down while providing this level of quality education. And I really want to thank everyone involved. Superintendent Chang, Assistant Superintendent Pepe, Kathy Sarno, and all the members of the Board of Education who worked so hard on this budget and were so patient in answering our questions and presenting all this material in a clear and understandable way. I wholeheartedly support this budget, and I thank you for letting us be a part of it.
Thank you very much. Not to be repetitive, but I do want to also thank everyone, because if I don't, someone will say the mayor didn't thank them. So I absolutely want to thank Superintendent Chang, Assistant Superintendent Lou Pepe, the Operations Committee comprised of Donna Miller, Peggy Wong, and chaired so ably by Deb McCann, and also all of the members of the Board of Education. Of course, it is clear to everyone that the information, the data that they get to work with comes from the principals, the administrators, who work with their teachers so closely. So I truly appreciate all of your hard work. And then as well, members of the Board of Ed who are not on the Operations Committee, but you needed to look at this and look at it carefully. I also want to recognize and thank Kathy Sarno for your assistance in preparing this budget. I'm sure you did lots of late nights.
I made her do as much work as I could.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, Luke. And lastly, I do want to thank Councilwoman Little and Councilwoman Fox for being on the Board of School Estimate. I know that they reviewed this budget very carefully, and they asked lots of questions. They had special meetings with Superintendent Chang and Assistant Superintendent Pepe, and they, as first years, they were asking lots of questions. This budget includes improvements in the curriculum with a focus on all students, including changes to, learning workshop, additions to ESL program, new enrichment and honors opportunities, and robotics. The Technology One-to-One program is continuing to thrive, and of course, there are increased opportunities in the STEAM initiative. The changes that have made in personnel and staff are wise, and I applaud all of the hard work you've done to bring our district, continue to have our district thrive. We thrive for many reasons. We have talented and dedicated teachers and administrators. Our students are intelligent and hardworking, and our families are supportive and engaged. And our taxpayers support our schools, as do many of our residents who volunteer countless hours of time, and they donate hundreds of thousands of dollars to our schools. Through the hard work and attention to detail, the Board of Education has passed budgets that have averaged an increase of 0.7% over the last 5 years, despite the 1.7% inflation rate. No other district, as Mr. Dietz said, in our area has been able or willing to do this and still provide the excellent academics, sports, fine and performing arts, and very strong co-curricular activities that we provide. I am very happy to support this budget, and I'm looking forward in the next few months, to being part of and listening to the discussions about the focus areas that will be coming up for the next 3 years, which is so wonderful that you not only focus on exactly what we're doing this year, but you look forward to what we need to do for the next 3 years. So with that, I commend you and thank you, and here we go. May I have a roll call? Oh, excuse me,
Madam Mayor,
before
we
that,
need to
may I
open
please
for
ask if there are
public.
any questions from the public? No, may I have a roll call? First, I need, can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, so I have motion by Mr. Hanley and seconded by Ms. Fox.
Yes.
Okay. Before I call the roll, I have to read into the record the resolution. Whereas pursuant to NJSA 18A22-7, the Board of Education of the City of Summit has delivered the 2018-2019 school budget to the Board of School Estimate of the City of Summit, and whereas the total amount of the budget is $69,332,042.6, with the amount of $64,005,589 determined to be necessary to be appropriated from local property taxes to support said budget. Now therefore, whereas the Board of School Estimate does hereby fix and determine the sum of $64,005,589 is necessary to be appropriated for the use of the City of Summit Public Schools for the 2018-19 school year, and be it further resolved, the Board of School Estimate previously determined and certified to the Common Council of the City of Summit that the amount of $63,153,994 was necessary to be appropriated for the use of the City of Summit Public Schools for the 2017-18 school year. Be it further resolved that the Board of School Estimate does hereby certify to the Common Council of the City of Summit that the amount of $31,576,997 is necessary for the use of the City of Summit Public Schools for the period of January 1, 2018 to June 30th, 2018, and the amount of $32,002,795 is necessary for the use of the City of Summit Public Schools for the period of July 1, 2018 to December 31st, 2018, or a total amount of $63,579,792 for calendar year 2018, and be it further resolved that the Secretary is hereby directed to deliver copies of this resolution, which shall also serve as certificates to the Common Council of the City of Summit and the Board of Education of the City of Summit. On the roll, where am I starting? Mr. Hanley?
Yes.
Ms. Fox?
Yes.
Ms. Little?
Yes.
Ms. McCann?
Yes.
Mayor Radis?
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're done.